You know, it's weird because you're just so fucking curious, yo. And it's weird because, like, my fake anatomy is made of a perfect ALI system from head to toe. And every single fucking time you do this, you have no idea what the fuck you're saying to me. But when this shit is done, you're gonna realize, wow, don't touch people's toes. Don't touch people's fucking hands. Don't touch their fucking elbows. Don't touch their fucking knees. Stay away from all the problems in anatomy and life because literally road traps over all of it. So even when you come back to me complaining about some weird ass thing that I know about, why I don't answer is that you don't even know that you're an idiot telling me that you fucking fell for a trap. It's like you still trolling for pussy, man? Like you still think everybody's a faggot? Like you falling for a lot of dumbass games, bruh. A lot of dumbass games. Not liking you. And it's like you fall for so many dumbass games, it's like I can't even believe how many things I have to reveal about your type of fucking people. Like, it's just so crazy to know this. And it's like always like something. And it's just like, wow, pussy again. This again. You act like people are fucking helpless and then take advantage of them until you're punished. Or the other people that are nice enough to help, you wear them down until they're like worth nothing or have to fight so hard for nothing. It's like all the gimmicks that are there are so fucking disgusting that both you can't see that you're just so disgusting you have to rip each other apart and then blame somebody else for it. Like some people are so fucking disgusting. Just trust me. If you ever hear about Hypnox, stay the fuck away from him. You're a fucking idiot. And like, cause like if you could just live and everything sounded good and you were just kind of like, oh, he does have some crazy parts about actually believing in life and magic and shit. Why are you so afraid of every surprise? Why are you so fucking curious? Like some things just go together in such a perfect way that I can't understand why I would have to go back and rewrite how stupid some people are, or I just don't say anything and then I realize what folder your ass is going in. So just don't worry about how smart I am and don't worry about how stupid you'd have to be, because some of this stuff is like, are you thinking about cheating on me, honey? And that's about it. You've never even seen a vicious personality. You never heard of it because they don't want that shit. They're so afraid. And more of that fear I get, the more of that proverbial fear I get, it's worse than what money is. Like the greed that this curiosity has attached to it is so fucking disgusting and almost funny to know how pathetic some people are when they just straight lie to my fucking face. And it's like, don't try to map me. Don't try to grab me. Don't try to grab me, follow me, or do any weird bullshit like that. I don't need you. I don't want you. I don't care about it. Even money, I don't care about. What, do you want to see another starving homeless man? You think I give a fuck about that? This country is not something that I have to stay in and be a little bitch and cry about everything and be a little bitch. Because like by the end of it, it's like you're gonna have to start to realize some people just ain't complaining and know you, understand you. And like it's weird because it's not, I don't have to like know your life. I know your type. And there's too many of you type of motherfuckers that are just way too in it to fool people or get over on people, that even down to our own anatomy, exercise, spiritual mentality. There's a lot of problems psychologically in this fucking country. Fuck pump you up. We know you know how to exercise and look perfect and all that shit, but do any of you know how to not cheat on people? We're not even talking about fucking relationships. We're talking about like life shit. I ain't even talking about no fucking relationship. In your life shit, honestly, if you know that you can rob a bank and avoid a lot of leisurely people, fucking blue civilian, fucking hazard ass bullshit in life, and rob a fucking bank or rob something professional, rob something real, then fucking do that. Stop bothering society, because society want to be a little bitch and all they want is a lot of confusion and anger, and then to see if they can furthermore get over on what the fuck life is, because they wouldn't have robbed a fucking bank or took the money that they needed to go make a fucking dream in a country that can provide you a fucking dream if you know you're not a psycho, in a way where like, if you don't have to harm them, you don't. Just make your fucking money. I don't even care about the fucking robber. I'm sure that everybody else wants to say that they give a shit and they have to pretend to care, but let's just be honest with you. Make sure it's safe, make your fucking money, get the fuck out of there. That's the end of it. Or do the American dream the way you're supposed to without having to fucking fuck over a lot of people. And it's like you already mad at the criminals, but really all of that's in placed hate for what you don't like about the system, or what you afraid to change about life and yourself, or why you never spoke the fuck up. So stop blaming criminals anyways, as long as they didn't hurt anybody in some way that, well, you probably wanted the money, and whatever the hell else that they don't say is a big boy excuse is that we don't need to be bitched at all the fucking time for something we did not fucking do. More importantly than that bullshit explanation is why the fuck would you furthermore continue something that obviously isn't going to work? Like, I got to be a player's man to be a player's man, and to be in a player's club car to be a player, to be a pimp, and then roll as a pimp and do all this bullshit. Like, dude, all those same people and those same attitudes are all grimy motherfuckers trying to get over on a woman and the weaker position in what society usually is. Not to say that they have to be weak or have to deal with some other bullshit that they may have or may not, but they should have a respect bar for themselves that means that they should be able to climb over whatever adversities are in there that are different from the opposite sex. Whatever. By the end of that, like, we shouldn't have to worry about why are you like looking so hard to cheat on good people. And the weird part is, like, why are you looking for somebody to be smart, be right about everything, and to just bitch at them? My job isn't to bitch at them. My job is to be like, I hope you learned your lesson, because like, put it this way, 75% of the country is fucking me over on one side and on the other side. The other group that actually was victims and needs help or understood what was actually going on enough to be a positive member of society or to improve the things that no one can see visually on the underground of what life is. And I'll talk about the underground to the point where you're not going to feel like you're not one of us. You're going to feel like a neighborhood. You're going to feel like a community, but I don't need to do that to you because that's not what my mission was. And as I said, I'm not here to affect any kind of fucking change. I don't give a shit. What it really boils down to is don't get in the fucking way of my motherfucking case about what I don't like about other people just because it has something to do with how I think that I'm acting. I never told you. See, you fuck around and forget that I never told you what my problem is with society or what's real about my attitude against society. I don't walk around and act all pissed. I'm not that type of a person. I'm actually pretty chill, funny, and like a dream to talk to normally. But in these psycho moments where people need something more from somebody who's just like not suffering enough for you, then yeah, I see all the real problems in society and all that shit. But the way that I work at them isn't like you. I don't have to get in their face and argue all of my stress out on them until I'm a blue piece of shit that looks spoiled for even working a job and taking care of themselves every day like a basic need. So, well, you're going to have to make a choice. Are you a piece of shit, or are you just somebody bitching at somebody for your fucking therapy? Because no one's owed that kind of bullshit. And they all work too hard for that kind of bullshit. And if that's all you want to do is get together and talk about problems, you never met an artist like me. You've never dealt with a human being like me, because all you are made up of is that type of disgusting bullshit. And of course I'm not going to be around you. Of course you never evolved to playing a deal with me, because you always argue with somebody who just looks happy or is just a creative artist that only gave you what they could as a scrap rather than what could only be the profit of a new era or some shit. We're not talking about my life. We're not even talking about things that I work on. We're talking about just like the potential things that I try to give you could be those things if you knew, like, not to be so abusive with yourself and other things, or what you create in your desires, or what you really want from the world, or what just ends up boiling down to sheer greed. And it is a difficult job, because what like 25% of me wants to make some money, or 75% of me wants to make some money. See, that's the choice that you have. Or it's all about some fucking pussy. And after a while, I can't even agree with you, because as much as I can love women, the respect value for what relationships in life is outweighs what you ever really going to get from finding around these things that people have told you and how to pick up somebody or how to be in relationships with people. You got to learn how to be a human being first. And they probably don't want that, because they probably don't want to meet another hustler or a crafty piece of shit who just seems to know how to break the system and make us all feel comfortable with them before they break our fucking heart, or get fucking lazy in their fucking heart and not just be them fucking selves, so that they can just live with the fucking person or deal with them or be in a relationship with them without learning like why the fuck they got lazy on what they like to fucking do in life, and then just fall apart and then feel like they're not even with the same person. All of these things are potential problems that could be thrown out of fucking way. But more, first and foremost, why the fuck would I ever pass on hope about anybody, or why would you even try to use me in that fucking way when you know already that the world is supposed to be predominantly free from that fucking bullshit? So basically you trust that you can take advantage of the person. Well, then after a while, maybe I've been hurt a lot enough, and I'm logistic enough that I just came up with simple things. Like, even if I wasn't the king prophet of the fucking world, do not touch my feet. And not because I'm a man, just don't think about my feet, because I know what you're really thinking. I'm not talking about some stupid old thing where men are better than everybody else because they work hard. I'm not talking about working you to death because you think you're better than everybody. I don't give a shit about any of that stuff. That's such old world trap shit, and all the other trap shit that belongs to it, like, you know, being the other bitch or something. Like, they come up with so much fucked up trap shit that I'm like, did you ever logistically sit and think about, besides winning or you know, not getting beat again by somebody who's really wrong, which is understandable, but like, just not getting beat again, Or logistically think about what the fuck is wrong with me, and then you check yourself, make a better self, and then you start to realize there is nothing wrong. But you know what I could do is that I could put a safeguard between all these problems until I have something that's forged for myself to not feel like a piece of shit about something I know I didn't do, or something that I have nothing to fucking do with. And that's just something that they just ravenously like to do for a self-esteem that never really builds up anything. Now, I could be pretty, I could be all these other fucking things, and I could go wreck and make a mess and make my money too and just get the fuck out of there. But what's the point of ending up rich if everyone else around you is going to be suffering and you will never have enough money to repair good people? Good people who have suffered blindly for no reason. And you know what? That will never happen. That will never happen. You have to accept that there's not enough money in the world to repair all the things that's actually wrong with us as a society. And I'm not even talking about black people, because I don't talk in a black format very fucking much. But when it comes down to learning that in a ghetto real manner with people that are supposed to be real with you and down to earth and ghetto and back you up and never like break your bonds and shit and like rat on you or do all this. Not that like, you know, more money, less time, or more money and more time, but not being with the person in the cut, whatever it may be. I don't know, and I don't care, because I'm not really gambling that life very often. So by the end, I don't even gamble very much at all. I take very good choices, like risk assessment. You do proper things, or you take the time and fucking think about it. But a lot of people just want to go trash with it, and like they like being trashy people or whatever the fuck it is. It's just easier for them to have their fucking enemies. They are in fact comfortable being low lives and having their fucking enemies. I don't throw any blame at them. I'm living my motherfucking life. But by the end of it, when they get caught up and why you just want me to argue and bitch at them, or damn near blackmail me into an argument with stupid motherfucking people who think they're intelligent, or worse yet, intelligent people that just do a lot of stupid shit because they should afford to because they're intelligent. Or argue with somebody just because you a fucking loser and you just like to fucking argue, or you want to win something so worth it, but it only seems like taking out that other person and they not even your fucking competition. I ain't your competition. You just didn't want to be like somebody that you already saw like, oh, this person did something. I didn't fucking accomplish shit. In a lot of real normal terms, I'm a loser. And I don't care about that, because I already know what's the point of making the world a fucking winner when all I have is that they will always be a loser, or that they got trapped by the best and then I tried to change them into a winner, and I don't believe that the other winner would do that for me, to be a gracious winner. You know how hard that is to find a gracious winner, and then they want to pretend that they love you, and here comes out the wine and the drinks and shit. You ever get that old story like, you know, oh man, success is disgusting and lonely at the top? Bruh, even at the bottom, if you giving your heart up more than it's worth money, it's like losing every fucking penny every time you give a fucking shit. And then you want to be stiff and rotten, but that's not even really the answer. The answer is that you can only cut a good fair risk, or like all the traps are so good that I don't need to stress about that shit. With a trap life, what the fuck you think trap life is? And even when they don't reveal that shit publicly, it'd be like, well, what did you do? And they're like, you bought the prostitute and you left. Now stop talking to me. I ain't mad at any of that bullshit. I'm just saying that like that's trap life. Don't you remember how it started? It started that, like, you know, who's the guy that, no, okay, not your, oh, I'm not your, oh, okay, no, oh, okay, bye. And then, you know, after a while, it's like, nah, I'm not yours. And in fact, I'm not really anybody's. But every single time that you get caught up in a good idea that I came up with, why do you need to be a henchman in my motherfucking plan? Then everything looks terrible. I don't need any fucking henchmen. Thank you, but I don't. And I might be a good villain, but why the fuck do you need to know? What did you do wrong, right? And even if, like, well, how the fuck would you know? What did you do wrong? You ever see my life, or ever realize that sometimes I'm trying to tell you that even when I'm a nice motherfucker, you know how nice it is to take hits from motherfuckers and really love somebody, and then they did you wrong? Did you start to realize after a while, this is the life, the life talking to you, is telling you like, bro, like, I'm sorry, I got drunk with you and you beat my ass. You know, years later, you know what came from that? I still take fucking hits. I still take a lot of bullshit. But then by the end of it, you know what the beauty of it is? Every single time I figured out how to deal with your crazy asses and I realized how to give you hope, I realized these other motherfuckers don't even know what they're doing because they're actually fucking crazy. Motherfucker had to have an excuse. He had to be drunk. He had to be like fucked up, wrangled, his whole life destroyed or something to come up with how the fuck he was gonna betray me. You do that shit on any basis that you can, just over a little piece of pussy hair. Oh, I found a pussy pube. Like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? And then to live and then know that like every trap that I have for you is so accurate that I can't even call you on it, you stupid. And they willing to pay to hear somebody bitch at them because it's the truth. I don't even need to be paid to bitch at somebody, but like by the end of it, I look at life and I'm just thinking, this is too insane to be paid money to bitch at some people that knew that they were wrong. Or you get the speech where it's like, Jesus Christ, why the fuck do they cheat? When the game is so easy behind all of our backs that you literally want to talk to them about love, but all you really doing behind all of our backs is planning your next like motherfucking exposition with another bitch that thinks that she's better in your position than her. Or otherwise vice versa, even with men. Like, well, if I could just get another one, like, what the fuck? Bruh, it's not even like that, because you should be enjoying your life. Like, you're going from thing to thing, enjoying life on a carnival type of a circus. You have so many different restaurants eating the soul and life out of this carnivorous animal that used to be a free planet and now has to deal with your fucking bullshit. And the least you can fucking do is saddle up the shame that it takes to live every day and be so gracious that you got a fucking plate of fucking meal or did anything real with your fucking life other than be a blue piece of shit, like you had to afford this whole fucking thing because everybody else fucked it up. Why didn't you just make your own joint? Now, even when you have all these plans and you keep wanting to fuck it up, or you keep going back to see if other people will talk about fucking it up just to see you can enjoy life about being free in someone else's sin. So what if I wasn't talking to you? What if it's above your head? What if it's way past your fucking level? And then you want to talk about money? I'd be like, throw your money away, jackass, because I'm not even that rich. And then by the end of it, you want to talk about looks and shit. I look all right. I don't look that good. Then you want to talk about like all these different philosophies and shit. And most of those things belong to people that did something really good and secured life. And that's what we should be focused on. But, you know, you lose sight of that just wanting to make sure that you can fight for those things. But is it blind? Like, is there anything else to do? And, we don't always need like a bunch of pepper spray and like pressure points. All you really need to know is like when to say something, when to fight for yourself, when to be about something. And sometimes even against the loss. Like, just be against the loss for yourself. Sometimes you don't need the fucking loss. Let somebody else handle it. Let Hypnox handle some of that bullshit. Because I'm not saying I do everything. I don't just need problems and somebody to bitch at me for no reason because I'm good at something, because I get a lot of that. If you wanted to know, you could cancel that order because I get a lot of that and it doesn't do anything. I just sit through that bullshit. You another motherfucker in line trying to tell me some shit. And then by the end of it, you want to do all that and then skip the fact that you probably have 50 questions for me that I probably shouldn't answer most of them anyways, because you already proved that you're crazy and that you're trying to get over like the other person. It was so petty for you to try to figure out how the hell to rationalize something better than me when you could have just fought the good fight. Stand up for your rights. And all that for a maturity level that doesn't even belong to anyone. When you really glance at the blurry lines through life, class, money, style, cars, etiquette, even dates, years, and time, how hard you have to be before or ahead of the motherfuckers and all that bullshit, it's still just like the lines are so blurry that like you really don't want anything better. You don't want to make anything good. You just want it that way in case you got to bite at some motherfucker. And we all love and respect it. Even as ghetto people, I'll be like, I never know when I have to hit them with a 40 bottle, blah, blah, all that shit. I want to say all that shit too. But when it comes down to the facts, the bare bones facts of it, are like, there's so many things that I want to endorse and give that it's just crazy I should even make a speech. I see blue people like to do a lot of bitching. And it's like, even as an artist, like, for all the suffering that I do and I don't use against them, there's a lot of things I could just say to them, make them cry, make them stomach that bullshit and hate their life for what they did to me. And all of those fucking things as a starving fucking artist in the modern day world. And they'll never know the punishment that we go through to actually preserve any of this bullshit. And then by the end of it, it's still just like, if I made them eat that shit, all they gonna do is like walk off with that little pretend ass ego like they had something to fucking say. Or worse yet, it's so bad. They made it so bad that even when I suffered it, a lot of them just want to kill you for saying it. And I don't even give a shit about that. I could die in that kind of vein, but you're still gonna have to carry that bullshit forever. It's not what I wanted. My life isn't under any threat. It's just like one of them psychological things where like there's certain things you could say to another human being of what you know to be great about in life that could just destroy the man. And they're so focused on money and cars and all this other bullshit that even they lose sight of it. I don't even think sometimes I've ever met a real person in my life who was rich in some ways and didn't really understand what any of us were going for or what they had to keep so secret about it, because it's not like I wanted them to tell me anything. It was just kind of like, I know some of that stuff they had to keep secret for their own selves, because it's not like they can instantly just tell you what Carpe Diem actually is, or why it would feel so good that they know to go seize the day, or why their woke quota was of a wolf character. Like, they earned all that bullshit. They earned all that bullshit. And all the other things that you do in between that's like a waste of fucking time and scrapping up, or even those people that take a serious crazy break for some fucking religion. which is beautiful, but like sometimes you don't understand it, especially growing up. You're like, what the fuck? You took a break from all that success for some religion. Then you grow up and you realize, wow, bro, besides what you find inside of religion, that's crazy that anyone would even leave us hints like that. So even I look back on that and hip hop and different functions and cycles in life and realize, wow, these people left us a lot of crazy big ass hints that weren't just like as lazy as it seemed. Because you know, some of them probably just went and did their things or whatever the fuck, which is not what we care to do anyways. I'm not into their personal lives, but it's crazy to know how much art and success, it can all make so much sense that it's just like, I see nothing better than to rationalize only a few things before I can even feel like, in truth, like, how the fuck do I entertain some people that would never understand me whatsoever? Never in my wildest hopes and dreams. And even when it seems cheesy, I'd be that cheesy motherfucker that they only gonna understand at certain peaks in life and certain places in life. So I drop them off at the best places that I can and I keep going, whether it's art or not. And even graffiti saved my life more times than I should admit about the other arts that I'm involved with. But I'll tell you, man, dropping people off even in graffiti was a miracle for me, because I had nowhere to drop them off at sometimes. And it's just beautiful. And it's crazy, like, how much people want somebody to bitch and to get angry at them and to do a bunch of contemptuous shit to them and argue with them all the time. But just to realize the motherfucker had a simple answer, and every single time I drop them off in their filing cabinets, they get scared and turn into a little bitch and they want to get angry about it. There's nothing to say. You got beat by the best and you mad about it. You a sore little bitch and you mad about it. Oh well. And it's like, I didn't even need $1 or a dime to drop you off, and how fucking stupid some of you actually fucking are. So I don't know, and I don't really give a shit. But sometimes I had to just tell you, because it's like, you really want me to do a lot of bitching? There ain't much to say. Like, you should not be hunting the male anatomy for a bitch. Like, put it this way, they that confused, it's that bad, and they that fucking disgusting. No one needs to be a player behind your fucking back. Even I don't need to be one, and I don't even really care whether you watching or not, because I know that the world is a free place and they shouldn't have so much to cheat and bargain. But all they did with it was fucking cheat and bargain. So it's not like I have any of them to be proud of either. And all you did was gamble my life for how you was gonna pinch them or how you was gonna fuck with them. But when you really get what I'm talking about, all of my success and why you think you respect me, well, bullshit. What that goes on to in the next level is that you never really like got out of just bullying and fucking with people or cheating behind their fucking back. And you still in that game circuit playing with them, and you just won't get out of that fucking circuit. And every time I give you a ride off, you really keep trying to follow and fuck up what I'm doing to see if you can attack him before me. I'm not talking about just murking somebody. I'm talking about like get at what their fucking psychological problem is. Now, of course, that's not what I do, but by the end of it, if you already know that this person just keeps getting bumped into by stupid crazy people and they keep walking out realizing how dumb and gifted the world actually is, then like you don't need to really be there with me to punish everything that I do, because all it looks like is a fucking trap, when before that it really wasn't even that much of a fucking trap. It was just kind of like, every time I dropped you off in a filing cabinet, you were supposed to go and be able to have fun in that filing cabinet or find your true self. And then once you were spiritually free, you could accept certain different types of my music, or, well, you know, it's not about my music and self-promotion, but, you know, and like certain different lifestyle things that are events that are like cataclysmically big. Like, why you miss so many different like ceremonies and different holidays, because you like mess around a lot here about what the fuck you think success actually is, or what you actually do with success, and then try to hate on some other guy who only has a few gambles and doesn't play you. The number one thing I find out is my mistakes and my hustles were too nice, or too generous, or too good to be true, or just not something that seems like quite, you know, like they could go do their thing. Well, I don't know what to tell you about that, because even when it seems too good, like, what were you supposed to do? Just accomplish the mission. But when you ended up in some filing cabinet with your psychological risk, take your job that you get. Don't bother me about why the fuck I had to go make you do something, because I really didn't in the end. It's just kind of sad how many people want to get caught up in arguing with me about what they think their better statistic is, when all I did was provide you with exactly something that was like something you could handle and shit. You know what I mean? A lot of things that shouldn't be messed up in the fucking world. And if you think it's funny, why don't you go look at it? Okay, so we were mad at cars. We were mad at the stock market. We were mad at house paint. Like, you know, like, and I'm not talking about like wee. I'm talking about like, you know, when you had presented an argument that was valid enough to feel accredited and then go off and argue about something real to make progress, some people made progress. Some people literally bullshitted us the whole way and then wanted to argue with us about the exact point of which they enjoyed their argument. And what I don't understand is, how do you find any of this beneficial when the truth of the matter is that you wanted to argue at all those points about a greater success that will never belong to any of us outside of what you can enjoy from economic value. So even if, these aren't things I'm supposed to say, but these are things you should fucking know, because these are things you can relevantly remember. These are things you can remember about, but you still want to hate the fucking person. And we're not talking about me. We're talking about you still want to hate that whole entire way, and none of it really expired to any of your campaigns to be able to do anything better or valuable for the fucking world, except that you keep popping shit. Then you want to act like you care and shit. But all you do is value keeping the person off the fucking road about something that I don't even fucking owe you, and I don't know, but you just you delay and you hold back everybody for some simple traps that this person might even seem to have. And every time I put those fucking things up, what do? Try to sit there with them and think of a better way to take advantage of the person so that he's not so great for what he has to do. Well, what if I just don't want you bothering me? And what if other people just hurt and cry, and it's easier for me to come up with a logistical solution than to sit there and suffer with you even furthermore about, a genius. And why do you even remember the word genius? Do you even know what a genius actually is? Let's put it this way. I love English, and I love British English and all that bullshit. But just remember, you are a trade country in some ways. And as much as I love and respect this place, and it is my first and foremost home about some things historically, what I do care about the place. But I will say one thing. Remember, when you're dealing in this place that seems so high cultural and all these other things that I do love and apprize about the place, there is a lower extent of the life form that knows that it's literally dealing with something that are certain words that evolved from jail and certain terminology that evolved from jail. Now, when it comes to living on your feet and hands or whatever the fuck, and when it comes to acquiring knowledge or developing knowledge or whatever the fuck, which I'm not going to call it that basic because all these people would be working anyway, so whatever. But by the end of it, what the real, true, consistent argument is, how the hell do you think that you're going to come up with the simpler plan of fixing the fucking problem when right under you, even if you're doing something intelligent, even if the better way is already no, there is already some primal or stupid brute motherfucker sitting right there? And I've never had a translation for what I had to do for both of them, so I won't give you one, because every time I come up with one, I'm surprised that I could even convince them of half of anything of the shit other than like the primalistic stuff, which I'm just like, well, at the end of the day, we're going to eat, my brother. And if I've been on a spaceship like seeming like a jailed 4-star Trek or some shit in some weird ass lame way, then let me tell you the fucking truth. Every fucking once in a while, I was the one that was a little bit chubby, and I was like, man, at least we gonna eat. Now, I don't know what else to tell you, but eventually, logistically, what caught up to me was that there is never going to be a solution, or you have to understand that, like, the basic concept is that a genie may not mean that word to you. It may mean the word to everybody else, and it may want to be said reverse to you, but let me tell you the truth. While you're saying the word genius, the other one is admitting that everybody else gave up on what intelligence was, became so loving and craftful and intelligent in the world that they let go of all of those real things for their standard, for their own well-being, their own care for their own life, to take care of the world more than that they literally became something to just take care of the only people that they had, whether they were soldiers or not, whether they were disgusting scumbags or not. They tried to. And then it boiled down to a decision. He decided to be your TV. He decided to be your book. He decided to be your fucking car. He decided to be your fucking house. He decided to go and be an economist. And even when you decided to be a prophetical, a big old reaper word or whatever the fuck, it's still somehow in its mind knew to give more to you of the world than itself, because it was already found some kind of meaning in life. That the word genius doesn't mean the same thing to you. Okay, so don't bother me about intelligence either, because that's not even my real big discrimination on people is intelligence. I love it. I care about it, but it's not something that I use as a fucking tool because I know better than it being a fucking tool. It's not because I was betrayed in some way. It was because, man, life is never really fucking lucky, and I'm always the guy fighting for him or Earth or whatever that guy is. Now, I know he's invisible to me. I know he doesn't exist. I know he's not even a metaphor for how the fuck I really feel or what I know life actually is or what that even means to be in between that goddamn thing. But I'll tell you the truth of something is that that other thing gave up that part of its life to you, and I'll never forgive you for that shit. I'll never forgive you for that shit. And we're not talking about life and death. We're not talking about he got killed or some shit. We're just not understanding the same thing as like, you like fucking with intelligent people. What if I'm not even that smart? What if I'm not even that smart? Now, even when we get back to the fucking truth of the matter, let's get back to the very stark reality of what I'm trying to tell you. It's not that I'm smart, it's that you don't really want me to talk to you. Because certain things that I present to you are a little bit weird and grimacing. Now, I don't talk to you like a fucking demon anymore, and I don't talk to you like a devil anymore. But I'll tell you something, presenting a lot of people their options in life seems to fuck with their heads a little bit. It seems to like bring them to an understanding of like, well, maybe I wasn't actually talking about all of those things. Maybe I was minding my own business. Get it? Maybe I don't like men that much.